Well, everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey, everybody, Cantonese Cat here. Ethereum, it really has been underperforming Bitcoin. Big part of the reason is, because there's a lot of speculation in terms of the Ethereum ETF getting approved, and there's a lot of outflow from the Grayscale Trust during the initial period. And it really has underperformed Bitcoin, unfortunately. It did have a very, very nice bullish Marubazu candle, just like Bitcoin had last week. But so far, we actually were at risk, and we might still be at risk for a little bit of a bearish engulfing candle here this week. Whereas Bitcoin had a Marubazu came back down, and the entire downtrend here got absorbed throughout the entire week. So it's unfortunate, but there are a couple of things. One is I'm still very bullish on Ethereum. There has been a little bit of higher volume so far this week, maybe because there's a lot of outflow due to some EDF adjustments, things like that. The key though is that I still think this is a reversal of a bear trend, and I still think that looking at the trend oscillator, it still looks pretty decent. Initially, I thought that it looked very much of like a rising three, very very much a lot of demand right here, bounced right from the Ichimoku cloud, Kijun over here, and also from the top of the cloud here on the 2 week chart. And it looked like it wanted to really just go up, but it wasn't able to, I guess, because of certain catalyst that has been happening. Regardless, though, this is still a very, very bullish look. So even though there are some, macro scare in terms of Ethereum, it still had really a hard time kind of breaking underneath this candle close over here. It still looks like it wants to probably close around this level over here, which still looks like a bullish, look to it so far. If anything, when candle was kind of underneath over here, it was still an inside candle to this big giant candle over here. So I still think that, eventually price is going to keep going up. And I'm still relatively bullish on Ethereum on the longer term, because it still looks like we're right now doing a little bit more of a fractal over here over the last 6 months as we did over here, where it's just simply basically trying to bounce from the Tenkan from one side to another before making another big move. It's just simply had to consolidate over here, make sure that the Tenkan is still support, the blue line over here, make sure that it's still support before going up. Even the wave trend oscillator looks very, very similar in terms over here to over here. I think that you have a little bit of a monthly downtrend here simply because price gone sideways for so long, but it does seem like it might curve back around because you're finding some pretty important support over here with a rising Tenkan. So I'm still very bullish on Ethereum overall. If you look at Ethereum, it did bounce from the Kijun. The Kijun was around $3,165, and it bounced from that as support. It also got back inside the bull market support band. I would really like it to kind of get back above the 3,400 zone eventually, but sometimes these things just kind of take time. It's just been oscillating sideways, and it's just waiting for the next big move to come. When it's stuck inside the bull support band, and when the Bollinger Band is starting to kind of get a little bit more squeeze over here, it's just been consolidating sideways, and the primary trend is still up. The bottom was all the way over here around 880 in June 2022. Since then, it's just been making higher lows and higher highs, and right now it's just consolidating sideways here. And I still think that overall Ethereum on the higher time frame also still look pretty decent. You have a little bit of a Bollinger Band squeeze over here that's happening before the big move, which is probably what's happening. Very, very similar morphology like it did over here. So I'm not really that bearish on Ethereum at all. If you also just look at the the whale significant number of whales here, it still looks like there's still a lot of whale momentum that's been going on, even though price is going sideways. So I'm not really that concerned about Ethereum. If you're asking me whether or not Ethereum is gonna outperform Bitcoin, I would say that initially there are some signs that tells me, hey, maybe it is starting to do so, but right now it's still not ready. And you did have a few things that kind of broken down over here that has been unfortunate. Look at the weekly chart. Initially there was a anticipated bullish cross of the Tenkan and Kijun on the Ichimoku cloud here on this Ethereum over Bitcoin chart. initially it looks like it was holding, just forming a very nice bull flag, but then maybe it was because of grayscale, outflow, it's just end up plummeting down, right? That said, all of this is still an inside candle, this big giant green candle over here. So it still means something, right? I still think that most likely it wants to challenge the Ichimoku cloud over here on this Ethereum over Bitcoin chart. But unfortunately, this big giant candle, red candle, has really made it kind of lost a lot of momentum here, even judging from this MCDX plus over here. Now, with that said, this is still a higher low compared to over here. With that said, initially it does look like it wants to kind of turn the support band over here, flatten it, and maybe potentially curve up, but we just had to break down. And you knew that because Ethereum has been underperforming Bitcoin really over the last week, which is unfortunate, but I actually find that to be more or less a buying opportunity. Like if you ask me whether or not I should buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, if you're a momentum chaser, you would buy Bitcoin. But if you're one of those who just doesn't like to buy things that are like overextended, I actually like Ethereum here. I actually think that the Ethereum chart doesn't look bad at all. But that's just me. I'm still buying Ethereum, and I still have a lot of exposure to Bitcoin overall. But I still like Ethereum where it is. And I still think it's going to do pretty well over time. Like I just cannot be that bearish on Ethereum when it has a full weekly bull trend with the 20 over 50 over 100, and they're really nicely expanding. Last time we have all of these starting to stack together was really here. I would say that the current spot may be very, very similar to this consolidation over here, where you have all the moving average stacking onto the correct side. But, you did end up breaking underneath the 20 over here, but I really don't think it's that big of a deal as far as I'm concerned. So that's Ethereum for you. The other chart that I would like to look at real quick here would be the Solana chart. Solana actually looks more bullish. It looks, if you just do the 2-week chart here, you have double tweezer here. It bounced on top of from the Ichimoku cloud. It looks like it wants to start running. So Solana actually looks more bullish than Ethereum in the short term. There's no doubt about it. All of this candles over here has been engulfed over here by just 1 week of Solana candle. So Solana looks like it's maybe a little bit, getting a little bit more ready to run. You can see the weekly, the 2-week over here has been trending positive. Weekly is already trending positive, and it looks like Solana is ready. The Chainlink chart bouncing to the cloud on the weekly though also looks like it's ready. 2-week chart still kind of stuck inside, but if I look at the 2-week, I think I think 2-week is just kind of trendless here. I do think that it's got enough of these demand wicks down here that tells me that I think most likely it's going to bounce from the cloud. It's probably going to go up. You do have a little bit of resistance over here with the Tenkan Kitchen, but you have a little bit more trending positivity now, and you just have price of Chainlink just going sideways for months. I'm not sure whether or not this like head and shoulder is going to work out because you have some pretty important support over here, and the trend is starting to change. So I see a lot of like these hidden bullish divergences across different crypto, where you have a increase in price and a decrease in wave trend. So I see a lot of more bullish momentum that are building up rather than just looking at this thing head and shoulder plummet. I don't think so. I think it's trying to challenge the resistance over here, and it's finding support in the cloud. And I think eventually, given another few weeks, Chainlink could end up doing some pretty nice things here. In Dogecoin actually looks better than Chainlink. Dogecoin actually looks pretty decent here because it has reclaimed the weekly Tenkan so far, and because on the weekly it also looks like it's trending more positive, and it just looks ready. On the 2-week, it looks like it got rejected here in the kitchen, which is a story, right? I mean, they just have a big downtrend over here on like no volume at all, and looks like it wants to just push up and goes through the cloud and just go get pretty bullish, but one step at a time. The buy volume so far this week is also not that high, and you're already getting close to engulfing these 2 candles over here, but simply got rejected over here technically by Kitchen. I do think a trend reversal is coming. I do think that we bounce where we needed to bounce, and I do think that we're going to do some pretty impressive things with Dogecoin coming up pretty soon. All Dogecoin has really been doing is you have an Adam and Eve over here. and it's just basically been back testing this Adam Eve breakout. Sure, we went down here to touch the liquidity down here below at around this level, around like 9 to 10 cents over here, and we had a very, very nice impulsive bounce over here. So I do think that the trend is changing because the volume has just been plummeting, and all this downtrend here is absolutely meaningless. And all it takes is just a little bit of volume to come into Dogecoin, and it can move. I am very, very positive on Dogecoin. I have a Dogecoin position. It's one of my heavier holdings, and it just looks like it kind of have a little bit of a breakout of this trend line over here and do a little bit of a back test over here. Like this looks like a pretty bullish setup here for Dogecoin moving forward, right? A couple other things too, like Shiba Inu, it doesn't look as bullish as Dogecoin, but it still looks pretty bullish. Had a little bit of a bullish cross over here too on the weight trend oscillator, and also it's doing exactly a very similar thing. It's just basically back testing this level that had been previously served as resistance, now flipping as support, and it's doing it in a very, very, very sustainable manner. And it looks pretty decent here. I can't say anything too bad about Shiba Inu. On the 2-week chart, it didn't really quite touch the bottom of the cloud over here. With the Super Ichi though, it really got really close to the bottom of the cloud over here. So that's probably where it got a lot of support, bounced up for a very nice hammer bottom candle. So I think this is the bottom over here for Shiba Inu here on the 2-week chart. And it's probably going to end up going a lot higher. On the weekly chart, it really just pushed far above the Super Ichi cloud and just simply had a back test here. It's got a little bit of resistance above, so it's not like Dogecoin is really trying to reclaim a lot of these resistance back as support. Shiba Inu is not ready to do that. Bonk though, Bonk has been amazing. Bonk is just basically going sideways to work out some of these, exhaustion over here. You have basically price kind of going sideways over here because it's exhausted, and you have a little bit of bearish divergence over here, and it's been worked out. Right now, if anything, I'm seeing more of like a hidden bullish divergence that's building up as price gone up, and the weight trend oscillator has gone down. So you got a little bit of a hidden bullish divergence that's been playing out here. I think it's probably going to end up pushing price up higher. On the Super Ichi, it just looks like it just kind of went back down and flipped the resistance over here in the 10-minute vision back into support. And on the Ichimoku cloud, it looks like it's also back testing the Kijun over here as potentially flip back into support over here, right? So Bonk actually looks pretty nice. Now I have, another thing about Bonk is also in weekly is also is pointing positive now, right? It really haven't had that like nice like separation over here. Here you have a little bit, here you have a little bit. But I think that now that we've been building up this like big hidden bullish divergence that's been going for a few months now, I think it's probably going to play up pretty soon. One position I have, and this position is it's not big, but it's like considering it's crypto wise, I have a pretty decent sized bag for AMP. AMP is a very low market cap coin, about $180 million, which is like nothing, if you consider how stocks, even small cap stocks, is like, a lot bigger than that usually. So 180 million market cap is considered to be like a little bit small. It's available on Coinbase. I just like the fact that on a 2-week chart, it looks like it bounced through all of this stuff over here, and it's just simply doing a back test at this level, forming a little bit of a tweezer bottom here. And it looks like it's just been riding down to the cloud, and I think it's probably found some pretty decent support here. Looking at the weekly chart, looks like it might be ready to get, into a pretty decent size, epic run here potentially pretty soon. It's still underneath the Super Ichi cloud, so it's got some resistance here, but it really looks like it wants to break above. And again, the wave trend just looks very, very nice. So I have a position. I haven't added anymore. I've been adding down here, but right now I've just been kind of focusing on Doge and Ethereum. If those get away from me, and if AMP hasn't yet, I might get into AMP, right? Another one that I've been very bullish on for a long time is Jasmy. It's just stuck in a range between these two Fibonacci levels around like 1.7 cents and 3 cents. It's just been bouncing over here, got above of it a little bit, and just kind of broke back down. And right now we try and break about the range of 3 cents over here, and it's just been oscillating around and around. It looks like we might be a little bit ready to kind of run over here on the longer term. On the monthly chart, is still pointing bullish. But back to the weekly here, what is the Ichimoku cloud saying? It's been ranging between the Tenkan and Kijun, way above the Ichimoku cloud. And what about the 2-week chart over here? It's just stuck inside, right? Does the Super Ichi cloud tell me anything? No, it's just kind of stuck underneath the Tenkan down here. But it just looks like a very, very nice bull flag up here. And if it goes down, could it potentially go down to 1.7 cents here back in the bottom of the range? Possible. But overall, it's just been forming higher lows and higher highs, so I wouldn't necessarily count on that happening. I haven't added to Jasmine for a very long time, but if it does end up breaking down to 1.7 cent, I'll be a buyer. The wave trend is pointing a little bit more, possibly more positive now, so I'm not sure whether or not that's going to happen. It's been forming higher lows and higher highs. Most likely it's going to end up pushing up higher when Bitcoin and Ethereum also point up higher. Rendar looks like it's finding some pretty decent support down here. It looks like the wave trend oscillator is pointing more positive. ADA looks like it's getting a little bit more positive here. Adam and Eve backtest, passing the backtest so far. Looks like it wants to run. Even Medic looks like it wants to run here on the wave trend oscillator. Initially, I thought it might go back down a lot further to 30 cents. But if it doesn't do that, and if it finds support down where it is right now, it could end up going up a lot higher over time. But I think this is probably going to be a little bit of a laggard because you still have a lot of resistance above of it, and it's still not ready to kind of break out quite just yet. So if you're interested in buying Medic, I think there's still time. You don't have to look into buying that right now. I'm still looking at the other stuff going up higher, and then if Medic lags behind, I'm going to end up staying in it. Other coins that I'm interested in, Cody, looks like you have a positive trend, wave trend oscillator change over here. And if you look at the Ichimoku, it looks like it's just simply bounced from the Ichimoku cloud going up higher. Looking at Cortese, Cortese is lagging, but even though the wave trend oscillator is turning more positive, I do have a position in Cortese. Unfortunately, it's just a laggard, and I'm just going to be more patient with it. But it does seem like it found a pretty decent support level here on the horizontal zone over here. So we'll see. I'm just going to be patient. I'm not going to add to Cortese, but if the other stuff end up pumping, if Cortese still hasn't pumped yet, if it looks like it's repairing some of these technical damage over here, then I might add to it. Near protocol, very nice, stuck in between Tenkan and Kijun. Nice wave trend oscillator pointing up. Graph bounce from the cloud, wave trend oscillator pointing up. H bar got rejected from the cloud here, but the wave trend oscillator is pointing up a little bit, so maybe it can break back inside the cloud and end up going higher from there. Injective getting back inside the cloud, looking like it's doing some pretty decent repairment of the downtrend here. Break back above the 10K, break back inside the cloud. Very nice wave trend. One that is looking like it might turn positive soon would be Avalanche. Underneath the cloud, broke back inside the cloud, trying to reclaim the cloud. So far is still underneath of it, but the wave trend is pointing up. On the 2-week chart, it's still inside the cloud here. On the 2-week chart, the Super Ichi is bound from the bottom. Looks like it might be ready to challenge some of the resistance levels up here around the 30s. We'll see what happens, but maybe it's got another few weeks of sideways, trying to work things out a little bit here before maybe the trend oscillator on the 2-week also turns positive, right? But the weekly has already started pointing positive. So Avalanche looks good. Optimism looks good. Same thing, very similar to Avalanche actually. But it's still underneath the clouds. Still need to work through a lot of these resistance over here on the weekly, with the Tenkan pushing down, which is where it got rejected from, right? But you do have a little bit of a bullish momentum here being built up here on some of these charts. Live Peer still underneath resistance, but still above the cloud, looking like it wants to turn positive. Elrond looks positive, kind of back testing the Tenkan though. It looks like a lot of these charts just looks like it wants to try to repair. One that I've been kind of I have a small position in, and this is a very, very small cap coin, only like 13 million market cap, is Soku. Soku looks like it's the trend is turning positive. Looks like it's bounced from the top of the cloud. So this is one that I'm in. Boba broke underneath the cloud, but it's turning a little bit positive over here. Boba I have to turn into a little bit more on a higher time frame chart to try to find some support levels. But it's looking like it's just been kind of vicious downhill for these are very, very small cap altcoins, 40 million dollar market cap, but it looks like it's forming a very nice base. I think this is like a um, very nice dragonfly bottom over here. So I think boba has bottom. I think it could break back inside a 2 week cloud and probably have some nice bullish continuation here. So there are tons of altcoins. There are a bunch of altcoins, but what is more important is that I think a lot of them are forming a lot of basing behavior, and I think a lot of them are looking pretty decent. So I will continue right now. My strategy is continue to add to Ethereum and Doge. Doge I really think is looking better. I have a small position in Solana. I have Chainlink. I'm just gonna let them be. But if I have to add right now, maybe Ethereum and Doge, and if they end up getting away from me, there are plenty of laggards that I can potentially add to. So that's kind of what I will do, but I do think that a lot of them have bottomed, and a lot of them are trying to still work out their technicals, but they're looking a lot more and more bullish by the month, by the week. So that's all I have for you in terms of Ethereum and altcoins. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one. Bye.